Hi, it's Mark from Mark of the Cyberbeast. Today, we've got the Cyberbeast here, elevated in extract mode. Why do we have it in extract mode, Mark? Well, today's episode is going to be in underglow lighting. Now, I actually literally only drive my truck during the day. I really don't go out at night. I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. I know that sounds sad and you're laughing at me. Stop laughing, okay? So I usually don't drive at night. But I do kind of think those underglow lighting kits that you see on vehicles do kind of look somewhat cool. Now, we're going to talk about the three options you have with underglow lighting in a Cyberbeast. Now, before we go any further, I also have to clarify a couple things. Not every state allows underglow lighting, okay? So check with your state to make sure it's legal. That's number one. Number two is many states who do allow it, certain colors are not allowed. Like for instance, in South Carolina, I believe it's red and blue are not allowed because they don't want people to get confused with an emergency vehicle, police vehicle, or anything else. So just an FYI, if you're gonna do underglow lighting, make sure you check your local and state laws, and you probably have to go with something neutral like a white lighting, which is kind of what I plan to do. And as I look into this, I'm going to do some research. We're going to talk about the research I did in this episode, and I'm going to do an episode or two on the ones that I've tried. I'm going to try a couple of them out and kind of tell you what the three options are and which ones are really the most viable, because I think one is just not going to be a real good one to do. So let's first talk about the three ways to power it. Number one, AC power. We've got AC jacks in the bed. I'm going to show you about that in a minute, how to do that. Number two, 12 volt. This is a 48 volt system. You'd have to get a step down transformer. We'll go into details on that. Third and finally is the 48 volt system that you can go direct. So let's talk easiest first, okay? Now, one of the things you can do that's very cost effective, okay, and this is something you can get off Amazon, is you can get AC powered like these strip lights. They're LED and they have adhesive, and they're often used underneath countertops, right? So you put it on, it gives it a nice glow underneath, or on top of countertops, gives it a nice glow. But you want to make sure that the strips that you're getting can be used outside, because we're going to put these lights under the vehicle, which means they're going to get wet, and they're also going to, and that's the air compressor kicking in for the extract mode, by the way. They're really, it's gonna get wet underneath there. If you're in a snowy climate, obviously you got salt and debris. So you wanna make sure that, number one, you get something rated for outside use that's gonna stick real well. Now, again, most of the time it is gonna be double-sided tape, and it's strong like 3M tape. And that 3M tape is pretty legit strong. There's also ways, if you can find it, where you can zip tie it underneath there, because some of them have openings. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about is this right here. So you've got your two 110 and your 220 outlet right here. You can set that in your control panel where while you're driving, that's always on. Now, you can get your AC power from here, but how are you going to get the wire underneath the vehicle? Good question. If you look in your trunk here, or yeah, I guess it is your trunk, not your front, it's your trunk. You've got the ability to open it up and be able to, for instance, this cover pops off and you can snake the wire in between here. I don't know if you can see that or not where I'm pointing. You can get the wire and sneak the wire in between there. Also, as an option, because some of you guys may have done this with your camera, if you put your camera down here, not at the top, you can actually, let me lift this up here, right underneath here is a way where you can get the wire through there, and it actually goes behind the license plate, and you can snake it down underneath, okay, and get it through there. Now, once you're underneath in here, you can actually bring it out to the side, either side, and it's going to really require some finagling to get this through. I would not suggest drilling a hole and putting it through, but you can. But there's openings in there where you can get the wire through. Now, once you get the wire through, all you have to do is safely and away from any moving parts, get it so you're going underneath the vehicle. Now, the big number one thing you're going to see underneath this truck is going to be the battery, obviously. And while you can fasten it to the battery, and if you use the 3M tape, you're going to want to use a good cleaner. I would probably recommend Goof Off and then some isopropyl alcohol and really clean off before you adhere it, get all the debris off there. But honestly, what you want to do is find some like gully, okay, where you can put it on the side. This light is going to be bright enough where you should be able, even if it's tucked away behind the gully and you have it in this gully, it's going to have the ambient light come out. So what you're going to do is try to find underneath here a place where you can put it so it's away from the open debris and water that is going to be coming up. Again, we'll be doing an episode on actually how I plan to run it once I crawl underneath here. So we're probably going to do this episode in Florida. And what you can do is you can run on both sides. You can even run it underneath the running board. So if you want it someplace safe, you've got some spots underneath the running boards. You can run it if you wanted to. And then you can also run two perpendicular in the front and the back, you know, the back bumper and the front bumper, and kind of put it underneath there. So those are places you can do if you want to run the AC power. That's going to be your cheapest way to do it. And if you just want to try something just to see how it looks, that may be a viable solution. Generally, it's going to be a one color. It's white, and that's it. It's on or off, and that's controlled by your screen. That's probably all most people are looking for. Now, the other two options are tried and true, proven ones. There's a couple manufacturers that make the Underglow lighting. We're going to have their names right here on the screen for you to look at. You can just go to their website, just do a search and go to their website. I'm not endorsing them yet because I haven't seen their products, I haven't used them, I don't know how good they are. But they're pretty inexpensive. The kits are about $100 or less than $100, but they do not include the step-down transformer, which you have to get separately from them. And you don't want to use just any step-up transformer. You're stepping up from, it is step-down, 48 to 12 volts. So you're going from 48 to 12 volts, you need a step-down transformer. You're going to want to use the one they recommend, the one Tesla recommends. If you just go to Amazon and use any one off the shelf, you may run into issues. Tesla will actually let you know about that in their, if you go to their website. So definitely want to use something, one of those four companies that, I just went to Grok and put in what companies have step-down transformers that will work with the Cybertruck. And those are the four that came up. It wasn't rocket science. So that's one option. You can spend about $100 on their stuff, get the step-down transformer, and you're good to go. Again, you're going to run the light strips underneath. And some of those will have an app. Some of them have a remote, little like keychain remote. You can change the colors, make them flashing, whatever. But again, the flashing, you gotta be careful. Not all states allow flashing. They just want the solid light on. The other thing too I want you to be aware of is some of them do have apps, and you can turn it on and off with the app. You can change the colors with the light strip on the app. So those are some viable solutions. I'm not sure, I haven't seen many people put these underglows on the Cybertruck yet. And I think a lot of it is the fear and unknown from the 48 volt system. So that's why I'm doing these episodes. Now the final one is the one I kind of like. And I reached out to the company that I found online that offers this solution. So me and my infinite wisdom said, Mark, how can I find a native 48 volt system? Well, golf carts, electric ones, they have a range from 18 volts to 72 volts because they run batteries sometimes in series and sometimes in parallel. So they'll have batteries for carts. Some of them are 36 volts, some are 48, some are 72, some are just 12, some are 18 actually, some are 32. So there's all different voltage. Well, I found a company that they have a simple 12 volt underglow light kit for golf carts, but they also have one that is I forgot what they call it. It's like a multi-variable, I guess it's a variable voltage, 12 to 72 volts. So no matter what voltage you have, it is going to work with, and we have 48 volts. And it's hands-off configuration. Basically, you plug it in and boom, there you go. So I reached out to them, get some information. I might go ahead and try one of their kits. I want to try them out first before I recommend them, and likely do an episode on them. Now, the cool thing, same thing with them, they've got the remotes to change the colors and the effects. There's also an option you can get with the lights. The cool thing with what they had though, is they had a controller that had a box where we can put in multiple strips. So you can actually have, if you, let's just say you had 4 strips, you had 2 on each side, and then 1 in the front, 1 in the back. You can make them all different colors. You make them do different things at different times. So if you want to blend in colors, if you want to have some kind of special look, maybe your football team, you know, has 2 colors, right? And you want to, you know, use those 2 colors. I don't know, whatever. But that's one of the cool things they offer, is the ability to make all those custom changes, and the prices are pretty respectable. It wasn't that much more than the Tesla ones without the step-down transformer, and in my mind, less parts is more better. So not running a step-down transformer to me is a step up. Now, the way you're going to go ahead and do both the step-down transformer and the golf cart one is by tapping into the 48 volt that's in your frunk, okay? So one of the things you're gonna do is you're gonna have to remove your frunk bin. And basically you're gonna have to take off your cover for your windshield wiper fluid. On both sides here, you're gonna get these things that look like little nubs of some sort. You're gonna pull them out and turn them counterclockwise. You're gonna pop this cover off here, and then you've got a couple bolts that you're gonna remove. And then once you get all those bolts removed, just remember you've got a lighted switch here for your frunk. So you can't just yank this thing off. You've got a wire connected to it. So it helps you have a second set of hands. We're gonna do a video on this, don't worry. But basically when you pop this thing out, you gotta reach behind there and unplug this lighted switch. Once that's unplugged, you can take this, move it over to the side. You'll have access to everything underneath here. Over here on the passenger side, you're gonna see 3 wires. They might all be bundled together, so you have to strip them back, because usually they tape them up. There is I wanna say it's a red, blue, or red something or another. There's actually 3 wires, 2 of them have 2 colors. The one that's got the red on it is obviously your positive, and then there's another one that is a brown, blue, or something like that, and it's a brown, that's your ground, okay? Brown ground, red hot. Then there's a third one, which you're not gonna use, that's a green one, that's the LIM, that is the Tesla linear interface module, something like that, where it actually controls the lights. So Tesla has its own controller for it. But basically you got those 3 wires right there. So basically you attach those wires, you're gonna fish that wire underneath and connect all your lights, and that's it. And then you can just have the power set up where you're running the lights while your truck is on. When it's off, it'll shut off automatically. To me, that sounds like the best way to go. I could be wrong, okay? But that's why we're gonna do a couple episodes. I'm gonna try a couple different ones, and what I'll probably do is we'll be at the Oasis in Alamorada. We'll be on the sand, so I'll probably put down a blanket, go underneath the truck, get the camera. It's not gonna be real pretty, but we're gonna see if we can show you guys how to actually install it if you want the underglow lighting, which can be a really, really cool effect as long as your state allows for it. And again, if you're traveling across different states, you always have the option to turn it off from your console controls very easily. So hopefully that was a good little teaser with getting you started with underglow lighting for your Tesla Cyberbeast or Cybertruck all-wheel drive, or maybe it's just the regular rear-wheel drive single motor version. All of them have that 48 volt wire right there. So that's your episode. I'm gonna do some homework, I'm gonna do some ordering, and we're gonna go ahead and check it out. Remember, next week, Monday, I'll be driving to the Florida Keys. I'm also driving on Sunday. We're gonna do a lot of FSD filming. I have 11 hours of FSD. I plan to be totally hands-off the whole trip. We'll see what happens. I wish there was an FSD update. I can make the drive even easier, but one has not dropped yet. So I got 1 week, you never know, maybe the update comes. And then we'll be doing Cybertrucking in the Keys. I can't wait for those episodes. Folks, it's 100 degrees. I'm going inside. It's hot AF out here. I need air conditioning. I need to do some video editing. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again tomorrow.